Inside the Dome of Ile Aje, the room suddenly became quiet. Even the air felt heavy. Then, Anita felt a sharp pain in her stomach. She gasped. Another pain came. Stronger this time. Her face tightened, she grabbed her stomach, trying to stay on her feet. Then, blood began to run slowly down her leg. Then, Anita collapsed onto the cold shrine floor. Outside, the afternoon sun still shone brightly. Servants swept the compound, children laughed as they chased one another, life went on as if nothing had happened. No one knew that something terrible had happened inside the sacred dome. Far away from Ile Aje, Raymond sat beneath a large tree discussing business with Michael. The conversation was peaceful. They spoke about trade, about the coming harvest, about the future of the family. Then suddenly, the wooden cup in Raymond's hand slipped from his fingers. It hit the ground. The sound echoed louder than it should have. A strange cold rushed through his body. His smile disappeared. His heart tightened. He slowly stood to his feet. Michael frowned. "Father, are you all right?" His eyes searched into the distance, as though he could see something nobody else could. Then he whispered, "Something is wrong." Within moments, horses thundered out of the compound. Raymond rode ahead, his horse running faster than the others. Dust rose behind them. Villagers quickly moved off the road as the riders raced past. Raymond pushed harder. He did not know what had happened. He only knew something was pulling at his heart. Sometimes, a father's heart knows danger before his eyes ever see it. The horses finally reached Ile Aje. Before his horse could even stop, Raymond jumped down. He almost stumbled. Raymond rushed across the room. He dropped to his knees beside her. His hands shook as he gently lifted her into his arms. "Anita, my daughter, speak to me." "Nothing." He touched her face. "Nothing." He called her name again. Still. Nothing. Michael finally entered the shrine. The moment he saw Anita, his legs became weak.
"What happened to her?"
Anita could not stand. She could not speak. She simply remained there, trapped inside a body that refused to answer her spirit. Raymond's breathing became heavy. His lips trembled. "No," he whispered. "Not again." The memories came flooding back. Grace. The storm. The night he lost the love of his life. The promise he made beside her grave. That Anita would always be safe. No. Without wasting another second, Raymond carried Anita out of the shrine. They hurried to the old priest. The priest listened without interrupting. Silence filled the room. He consulted once. Then again. Then a third time. Each time, his face became darker. Raymond noticed. His heartbeat became faster. Finally, the priest looked up. His eyes carried deep sorrow. "Raymond. Anita's spirit has left her body. She has been chosen." Raymond looked confused. "Chosen, for what?" The priest lowered his eyes. His voice became almost a whisper. "She has been chosen, as the sacrificial lamb." "No. I lost Grace because I could not save her. I built Ile Aje because of Anita. Everything I have done, every sacrifice, every prayer, every drop of sweat, was for her. What will I tell Grace, if I fail our daughter too? I will do anything. I will give anything. Please, don't let my daughter die. The old priest looked at Raymond with pity. He knew this was not an ordinary man. Raymond had fed widows. He had clothed orphans. He had welcomed strangers into his home. He had never forgotten the pain that built Ile Aje. The priest closed his eyes. Then he spoke slowly. There may still be a way. Raymond lifted his head immediately. Hope returned to his eyes. The priest continued. If Anita crosses the final gate of the land of the dead, nothing, and no one, can ever bring her back. He paused. But, if you find her, before she crosses, you can still bring her spirit home. The priest slowly removed a white cowrie bracelet. Then he handed Raymond an old lantern. Its tiny flame burned steadily. This light burns brightest near the truth. Finally, the priest held Raymond's shoulder. His face became serious. Listen carefully. Whatever you hear, whatever you see, no matter whose voice calls your name, do not answer the voices that speak through your regrets.
My son, on your feet. Now turn and face the wall. Spirits of the ancestors, I call upon you.
The moment Raymond crossed the unseen boundary, the world around him changed. The warm afternoon disappeared. Dark clouds covered the sky. The air became cold. Very cold. A thick mist rolled across the ground, swallowing everything behind him. Raymond stopped walking. He looked back. The road he had just crossed was gone. Only darkness remained. He tightened his grip on the lantern. Its tiny flame flickered, but it refused to go out. Raymond took a deep breath. Then, he continued walking. The forest was unlike anything he had ever seen. The trees were enormous. Raymond whispered to himself, I will not fear. He walked on. A few moments later, he noticed an old woman. She stood beside the narrow path. Her back was bent with age. When she saw Raymond, she smiled weakly. My son, please help me. My old body is tired. I cannot carry this alone. Raymond froze. The priest's warning echoed inside his mind. Do not answer the voices of your regrets. But this woman looked real. She looked harmless. Raymond bent down. He reached for the bundle of firewood. Suddenly, the helpless old woman became a terrifying beast.
Go away!
Suddenly, Raymond burst onto an empty shoreline. He stopped, breathing heavily. A small wooden canoe floated beside the shore. An old ferryman sat inside. Many fathers have stood where you stand. Very few returned.
The path ahead is harder.
I seek my daughter.
Then he pointed toward the endless sea. Then remember why you came. The moment Raymond looked toward the water, everything changed. The Black Sea shimmered. Beautiful palaces appeared in the distance. Then Raymond saw something that stole the air from his lungs. Grace. She stood smiling. Young again. Beautiful again. Beside her was Anita. Both smiling at him. Father, Anita called happily. Grace stretched out her hand. You've suffered enough. Come home. Raymond's eyes filled with tears. For a moment, he forgot everything. The journey. The warnings. All he saw was the family he had lost. Raymond smiled. His eyes never left Grace. She looked exactly as she did before the storm took her away. Her smile was gentle, warm, peaceful. Everything Raymond had missed for so many years was standing right in front of him. Beside her stood Anita. Healthy, happy, smiling. Father. Anita called softly. We've been waiting for you. Grace reached out her hand. You don't have to suffer anymore. You've carried enough pain. Come. Stay with us. The water reached his knees. He did not stop. It climbed to his waist. Raymond was no longer walking. He was struggling to stay above the water. Suddenly, everything disappeared. The golden water. The treasure. Grace. Anita. Everything gone. Huge black waves rose into the sky. The peaceful sea transformed into a furious ocean. The water spun violently around Raymond. A giant whirlpool opened beneath him. Its roar shook the sea. Massive waves crashed over his head. He struggled to breathe. The current pulled him under. Raymond fought to stay above the surface. But the sea was stronger. Much stronger. Then, something touched his leg. Raymond looked down. A pale hand. Another. Then dozens more. Ghostly hands emerged from beneath the black water. They wrapped around his legs, his waist, his arms, pulling him downward. Slowly, relentlessly, one by one. You belong here. A whisper came from beneath the water. Another voice joined it. Rest. Then another. You've suffered enough. You cannot win. Stay with us. The voices echoed from every direction. The waves became even more violent. The sea spun like a living monster. Raymond disappeared beneath the surface. Underwater. Everything became silent. The only sound was his heartbeat. The shadowy hands dragged him deeper into the darkness. His chest burned. His lungs screamed for air. For one terrifying moment, Raymond stopped fighting. He was tired. So very tired. Maybe the voices were right. Maybe it was time to let go. Then he saw something. Raymond's eyes flew open. No. Not today. Not while Anita still needed him. With every strength left inside him, he fought for survival. The whirlpool began to collapse. The waves pushed Raymond violently toward the shore. He crashed onto the sand, coughing, gasping for breath. His clothes were soaked. Tears rolled down his face. Not because he almost died, but because, for a brief moment, he truly wanted to stay with Grace. The ferryman still sat quietly in his canoe, as though nothing had happened. Without looking at Raymond, he spoke. The greatest trap is the one your own heart builds. Raymond slowly stood. He looked back at the sea. It was black again. Silent. As though none of it had happened. He tightened his grip on the lantern. I won't fail her. The ferryman nodded. Then pointed toward a narrow stone path disappearing into thick mist. Go. The gate is close. Raymond took one deep breath. Then walked forward. The mist slowly opened before him. Standing across the path were three enormous figures. Each wore a carved wooden mask. Their presence alone made the air feel heavy. The first guardian spoke. Its voice sounded like distant thunder.
If saving Anita means losing everything, would you still choose her?
Without Anita, Ile Aje means nothing.
The spirit stepped aside. You may pass. At last, Raymond saw it. The gate of the land of the dead. Huge. Ancient. Countless spirits walked toward it. Then Raymond saw Anita. She moved slowly, like someone trapped in a dream. Anita! Raymond shouted. She did not respond. He ran toward her. Dark shadows rose from the ground. They grabbed his legs.
Anita!
This time, Anita stopped. She turned slowly.
Father?
Raymond reached her. He held her tightly.
I'm taking you home.
Strong winds pushed against them. Raymond held her hand. Run. Together, they raced away from the gate. Back in the physical world, the priest prepared a powerful ritual. Sacred chants filled the room. Michael knelt beside Anita's body, praying. As Raymond returned with Anita's spirit, the priest guided it back into her body. Anita remained still. The priest continued chanting. Then suddenly, Anita gasped. Her fingers moved. Anita! Michael cried. Slowly, she opened her eyes. Michael wept with joy. But then Raymond collapsed. Raymond struggled to breathe. The priest lowered his head. There is always a price. Michael stared at him. What do you mean? The priest looked at Raymond sadly. The journey demanded a life. The reason Anita returned is because Raymond traded his own. Silence filled the room. No, Anita whispered. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Raymond smiled weakly. When your mother died, I promised that I would protect you. You kept your promise, Anita cried. Raymond touched her face gently. Do not let wealth change your heart. Remember the poor. Remember kindness. Remember the pain that built Ile Aje. His breathing grew weaker. He looked at Michael. Take care of her. Michael nodded through tears. I will. Raymond looked at Anita one last time. My daughter. And Raymond breathed his last. The room filled with cries. Outside, the evening sunlight touched the walls of Ile Aje. The sacred clay pot inside the dome slowly stopped glowing. Its light faded into silence. The priest whispered, the debt has been paid.